This episode of the Naturist Living Show, the Camp Retreat in Zipolite, Mexico.
This episode of the Naturist Living Show is brought to you by Bear Oaks Family Naturist Park. At Bear Oaks, we offer traditional naturist values in a modern setting. Free your body, free your mind. www.bearoaks.ca.
Welcome, dear listener, to episode 166 of the Naturist Living Show. Today we're going to talk about a very special place that I visited in Zipolite, a place I've now been 3 times, that is specifically designed as a retreat for naturists and others who just want to kind of get in touch with a different way of being and energy to create a new community and bring people together and get them to, grow. It's really interesting. It's a very interesting place, and I look forward to have you learn more about it through the discussion that we have with the designer, owner, and the manager. But first, I want to talk about Patreon, our Patreon, because it's what keeps Samantha able to keep editing the show, and that's why we can keep having episodes of this show coming out. So I appreciate everyone who is giving a small monthly amount to the show, because it all goes to Samantha, and it just keeps things going. And obviously we don't make any money with the show. There's no advertising. There's obviously no television network or radio network behind us paying us to do this. So, Samantha, can you tell me how the Patreon's doing?
Thanks, Stefan, and thank you to each and every one of our listeners. Before we jump into today's episode, I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone for your support, listening, sharing, and spreading the word about naturism. It truly means the world to us. And a special shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. I truly appreciate every dollar month after month. You keep me going. So I want to dedicate this show especially to Mark F. S., Sebastian, John, Joanna, and Jose. Your support means the world, ad-free and authentic. And now, let's dive into today's episode.
So this was recorded on my second visit to Zipolite. The first time I went was in, I believe, very early 2020 for the festival, the Nudist festival that they have there. And it was a wonderful experience. And then I was there for preparation for the Congress. The International Congress was held in 2023 in Zipolite, Mexico, in the fall of 2023, which meant that there were people from all over the world that came to experience Zipolite. And for people in North America, that's a fairly common vacation destination, but for Europeans, first, it was quite a trip. I actually flew back from Zipolite to Europe for the international swim competition that was being held in Le Havre in France. And from Mexico City, that was about a 12-hour flight. And I had to fly to Mexico City from Zipolite. So quite a trip. But yeah, Zipolite is a wonderful place. And in early 2023, I went there for preparation to meet with the hotels and do the planning and make sure everything would be in place. And yeah, it is. I do love the village of Zipolite. It feels anyway like a true Mexican village. You're not in a resort area. There are certain areas of Mexico that are real resort areas, and only tourists really live in those areas because it's not designed for local people. But in Zipolite, you really are staying with the local people. It's not a resort town, even though it's very dependent now on this tourism. But it started, we did a previous episode on this, it started as a surfing kind of destination in the 70s. And, the surfing community is pretty easygoing, a lot of hippies. And so the nudity became very sort of accepted on the beaches. And now it really is part of the culture of Zipolite to be kind of free and accepting. But it's still a real place. It's sometimes, a little run down in some of the buildings, but it has atmosphere, and the people are wonderful. And there's lots of really nice hotels you can stay at as well. Don't get me wrong, that are have everything you would expect from a Canadian, US, or European hotel. But there's it's very affordable, and there are lots of small restaurants and food places all over the place, run by a lot of expats, people from all over the world. I had some really good French food, and I had some really good French-Canadian food, and but of course lots of good Mexican foods too, and there's a great pizza place. If you want to learn all about Zipolites, go and watch all the videos from Naked Linz, from Naked Wanderings. They cover the place so well. But what I'm interested in talking to you about is a very special place where we stayed at called Camp. And Camp was started by Anthony as a place to have retreats. And so it's not just for naturists, although it's always clothing optional. And it's really designed to build community, for people to be together, to have events together, to do development together, whether it's yoga retreats or just discussions, groups, or whatever. Anthony developed the first part, and now he's built a second part that's even more elaborate and better suited for presentations and music and all kinds of interesting things you can do. Anything you can imagine, as long as it's built around community and bringing people together. Camp really is the place for that. So I sat down with Anthony, who is an architect and the person who built and funded the development of Camp, and Ernesto, who is the manager who runs it, so they could tell us all about what is the vision, purpose of Camp and how it works.
My name is Ernesto Cortes, and I am the manager of Camp in Zipolite.
And I'm Anthony and Leone, and I am the owner of Camp in Zipolite, one of the owners.
You were saying earlier you don't like to tell people you're the owner.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
So did that work? Was that okay?
I think I had to I choked on that a little bit. Yeah.
And Ernesto, before you became the manager here, what was your background? Who are you?
I've done a lot of things. The last thing that I was doing before coming to Camp, I was working as a translator. And also I am a teacher of a method called Intelligent Movement, which is a somatic practice. And I was doing a lot of things with my life. Eventually I ended up in Zipolite, and luckily I happened to be here at the same time that they needed someone at Camp to run Camp, and that's how I ended up here at Camp. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't actually have any management experience for hospitality or anything like that?
I had been running one place before coming here. Yeah. And I had management experience in the government. I used to work for the government, and also I had 10 years of experience in school management. So this was my second experience working in hospitality. Yeah.
Good. And you have decades of experience in hospitality, Anthony, right?
There's a little truth to that.
There is, or is there? Okay.
Yeah. In my former life, I built and managed restaurants.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And nightclubs. And when I was in my 20s and into almost 30, and then I shifted my attention to architecture and home construction. I had a construction company. Okay. So it was design build.
So, as people listening can tell, Ernesto, you're probably from Mexico.
Yes.
But Anthony, you're not.
No, I'm from New York.
Okay. And so, we've been staying here for a number of days. It's lovely. We're here for it's not the festival anymore, it's the encounter, right?
This year they're calling it
the Naturist Encounter or Nudist Encounter. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And we're having a beautiful time here. But I'm going to ask you, what is Camp?
Okay.
Briefly. Let's start briefly.
It's I guess I'll start with what hits me first is the name, camp.
Yeah.
And that kind of informs what it is.
In all caps.
Yeah, well, usually it's in all caps, exactly. And it's a container. It was built as a retreat center. And that's another story as to why we're beginning to favor the hostile use of the space. But it's built as a retreat center. We're building a second phase, which is only for retreats. And by naming it camp, it's a neutral container because the magic that happens here is about the group and the producer or the organizer that brings their work here. We don't want camp to compete with that. So if we called it if we gave it a Zapotec name or a Hindi name or something like that, like many places, like many yoga retreats and retreat centers and stuff like that, then that sort of suggests an expectation of what we think should happen here. So.
And it's funny because by calling it camp, sometimes people are confused because they arrive and they expect to see a campsite and tents and stuff, or something extremely rustic or extremely basic, and then they're surprised. Yeah. So by under-promising, I guess, people get surprised.
Yeah,
by that.
People's expectations are exceeded. But there's a little bit of that to that word as well. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as the owner, you're the visionary, and as the manager, you're the practical. So practically, what is camp?
Camp is a hostel, a retreat center, a place for meeting. We not only host people who come to spend a few days here and spend a few nights here, also we host a lot of events that sometimes happen for a few hours, sometimes for a few days, and all kinds of events. We have had yoga retreats, we have had episodic communities who gather here every year. We have, for example, in this season we are having every Friday an event where there's workshops, there's music, there's dance, there's concerts. So we have a space for a lot of things, and the way it was built, and maybe this is something that Anthony can talk about more, it was built so that people are not like in a hotel, staying in their rooms and spending time in the room, but outside of the room with several spaces. The architecture favors the spaces for people to gather, for people to meet, to interact, to exchange ideas, and in the pool, around the fire, in the sauna, in the yoga studios, in the movement studios. So it's a space for people to gather, to meet, for communities to gather.
It feels it's a very clearly designed space. It's not an accidental development. It has a real feel, a real local feel in terms of the look. It's not, you may be from New York, but it doesn't look like anything you'd see in New York.
No.
It feels very organic, and you feel very much you're in an enclosure, in a space away from the world. So why don't you tell us what your vision was in what you were trying to design and what you were doing?
Well, it definitely is cribbing from local Oaxaca vernacular architecture. The people the Zapotec people in this part of Mexico, in Oaxaca, it's arguable, but I believe it is the oldest civilization in Mexico, and original people have been here for thousands of years, maybe 3,000 to 5,000 years. No, more closer to 5,000. And so this kind of construction is ideal. It's developed over time for this climate, for this exact climate, and the winds and all the things. So it's the most comfortable way to build enclosed spaces. For instance, the palapa, because the heat stratifies up and through it, so it stays cool, but it sheds water.
What is a palapa?
Yeah. So these thatched. If we were in England, we would say a thatched roof. It's in this case the material is palm instead of straw.
And there was a hurricane not very long ago. This area doesn't get a lot of hurricanes.
That's right.
But there was one. And how did the palapa do?
Well,
was here.
I happened to be here during that hurricane. That was like 2 months after I started working here. And it did very well, and it was surprisingly well. And actually, it was an opportunity to learn more about how this kind of design, which is a little unusual because these are pointy shaped palapas, it happens to be perfect for the hurricanes. So now the second stage of camp that is being built is using the same kind of design. And even though half of Zipolite was destroyed by this hurricane, camp didn't suffer any destruction. We got, of course, a lot of water, a lot of mud. We didn't have electricity for a week, but this is when this idea of community was tested here at camp, because we had 15 guests before the hurricane. I told them 3 days in advance, our hurricane is coming, go away, we'll give you your money back, and they all decided to stay. And they stayed after the hurricane. They stayed two weeks after the hurricane, just to help, because they liked camp so much and they liked Zipolite so much that they decided to stay. They helped our neighbors. They helped other places after the hurricane to rebuild. And that's when we realized, wow, this works. This place really made people feel like they were a community, and they decided to stay after the hurricane and not just go back home and be comfortable or go continue their vacations elsewhere, but they stayed. Yeah,
That's great. So it's good design.
It was. The shape of the palapas was an aesthetic conceit on my part, and I accidentally designed something that is structurally very sound and has a thin, narrow profile, wind profile. So I didn't design it for that reason, but it was it's an esoteric benefit.
So beyond the roofs, which we're talking about, that's the palapa. And there's a pool. There's a sauna. There are showers, outdoor showers. There's private rooms that people can rent, or shared rooms in some cases, and a dormitory, very much like a hostel. What else? What was the design philosophy around where you placed everything?
Well, as Ernesto said, he was referring to the social architecture of some of the kernel concepts that we created. That basically, what most of them have in common is encouraging intersection with people, and without them necessarily realizing it. I don't often talk a lot about those devices or tools that I used, but one is the rooms are small. They have a bed. They have a little cabinet. There's no chair. There's no desk. It's not. You can't. Well, you can, but you don't. You wouldn't. It wouldn't occur to you, I think, to hide in your room during the day. So people tend to come out of their rooms and engage the space and sit in the common areas. The tables that we have are too big, so when people are here by themselves and they come out of the kitchen with their food, they look around and they need to sit with other people.
It's a shared kitchen too. Yes.
And it's a shared kitchen, which is a wonderful locus for people to meet each other. And the pool is sized in such a way that if you're in the pool, no one's more than about 3 meters from you, so you're going to acknowledge their presence, and you're going to it's a conversation pool with seating all around it for about 20 people, if there are that many people in it. And so people use it as a conversation pool without there being a sign that says this is a conversation pool. The sauna, of course, is a locus. It's a scenarium. It's a lower temperature sauna with the intention that you can stay in there longer because it doesn't get quite as hot as a Russian banya. And so people do spend more time in there, and they end up having conversations. In fact, because it's domed, they sing. Very frequently, I'll sit outside and I just smile because it's such a successful piece of social architecture, in that the acoustics encourage people to just start singing, and it happens quite a lot. And then another acoustic feature is the stairs coming down from the street, the 2 stairs that here, and also the stairs that we're building in the new extension, in the new phase 2. They're almost monastic. They're very narrow. So if someone enters camp upstairs and then navigates down, and they're talking, they'll interrupt their conversation because they kind of have to come down the stairs in a single file line. So then they'll wind their way down the stairs and then land in this lower studio, for instance, where there might actually be a yoga class or something gentle being taught. And then, of course, when they got down to the bottom, they might then say, "Ooh, shh," hush their conversation. But the stairs have the effect of quieting them until they get downstairs, and then, of course, they can decide if they want to continue their conversation. And there's probably more that I'm not thinking about right now, but yeah, there's a lot of things, and the devices, they work. They work.
It's not. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from what you've designed, but it is very much what you see in a hostel environment, which is designed for that interaction as well, right?
Yeah.
It's part of it is traditionally for cost effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
People who can't afford very much when they're traveling. But I think a lot of people, especially young people, seek out hostels because they meet people and it creates a community.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what people should understand is happening here if they come here. And if they don't like that,
yeah,
you're not tricking people, you're just facilitating what people should want if they're here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I failed to say the obvious, that the concept was a hostel.
Yeah.
And it's, we could have built something a little more chic or fancy and charge more money. We're one of the least expensive places in Zipolite. And we designed it to be that. We definitely wanted to, we really like the people that self-select to come to camp. And it's decidedly a hostile environment for sure.
And something that I would like to add after being 2 years here and seeing the operation is that this is a place that, interestingly, many people choose for their first nudist experience. A lot of people who come to camp, they have never been naked in public. They have never had this kind of experience. And they choose this place also because we have created a narrative in our website about the kind of values that we have and the guidelines and the rules that we have. So that in order to create a safe space and a place that is a kind place for people who are having their first experience as nudists. So this has also been an interesting thing to observe, and that I see when people first arrive in the place, and the first time that they take off their clothes, and the first time that they interact with others, and then the third day, it's a completely different story. Their attitude and their comfort is very different by the third day.
Well, so yes, and is this a naturist hostel?
No,
it's hostel, whatever.
No, it's not. My friends Aaliyah and Sam, who founded Nude Revolution, were here the other day, and they're excited about camp. They want to do something. They want to bring their community here, and I think that's great. I'm excited about it as well. And I think Aaliyah asked me, how many nudist retreats have you done here? And it was funny because I just, hearing that question, I was like, none. We haven't done any. Now, that said, everybody, whether it's a hostel guest or retreats, everybody's naked all the time. I mean, there's a lot of nudity here, where nudity is allowed and nudity is invited, and the staff is frequently nude, and it's definitely a nude space, a nude friendly space, because we're in a nude friendly town. But it didn't. It was just funny because it occurred to me, like, actually we've never done anything where the point was nudity. Nudity is part of everything that happens here, but it's not been the point. And I think that the population that comes to Zipolite, they tend to be more backpack travelers and wandering. Tend to be younger, like maybe X generation or younger, and I don't think anyone I would talk to on the beach or here would identify as a nudist. I think they're just comfortable with social nudity and being naked on the beach or being naked here. As Ernest said, some people try it out willingly and gladly, though they've never done it before, but they feel safe to do it here. But yeah, it's not. Nudity has always been a given for my partner and I, but there's nothing in the design that specifically accommodates that's unique for nudity. Yes, except that the showers are outdoor and yeah.
Which I have found very interesting. Having the showers outdoors, it's a feature that I have realized that it creates better connections between people. When you see someone showering, which is something so private and so personal, you shower in a unique way. You rub yourself in your own way. You touch yourself in your own way, and when you do it in public with other people, this changes the way you connect with the other people. And what I have found is that it makes conversations easier, more open, and more natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's 8 of us here from Bare Oaks, and we haven't worn clothes since we got here, which was 5-6 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So very comfortably so. But you had a big gathering on Friday night of people, and I definitely felt like I was the oldest person. Well, you're kind of in my age range too, but
I am. But,
So it's very much a naturist-friendly environment. Even, and can you go into the pool with a bathing suit?
You cannot.
You
No.
cannot.
No.
So it has a lot of those aspects you would find in it.
I mean, technically you can. We say in our rules that if your cycle or gender expression has you wanting to keep your bottoms on, you're welcome to do that.
Right.
But very few or no one takes advantage of that loophole. But
There is one shower where you can be.
There is one private shower.
One private shower if you want to do
that's
that.
correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So there are some very elaborate accommodations in Zipolite. You can be right on the beach with a balcony looking out at an air conditioning room, and everything very white and clean and perfect. If that's what you're looking for, that's probably not here, right?
Yeah, I call that Miami Fabulous, the Miami Fabulous places, and they're white construction and white concrete and painted white and air conditioned and all that great stuff.
But if you were at Hotel Nude or Hotel Naked, you would not have to wear clothes. So
correct.
Well, you don't have to.
No, you don't have to. But
Right,
during the
you
Nudist Festival, you'll see a lot of people that are there naked, of course. But during the week, during a normal time, it's kind of amusing how few people are naked at Hotel Nude or Hotel Naked.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It's kind of
it's a
strange
thing.
because they're paying a premium for nude hotel. Which
Yeah,
is weird,
it's a little
But
strange.
my point is that you don't have to, you wouldn't pick one or the other because you don't want to wear clothes.
Right.
Because you can do that in both.
Yeah.
So why
sure.
would you pick camp? Who are you talking to? Who do you want to come here? Who do you think will be happy here?
I think that first of all, people who are comfortable with nature, because we are in the middle of the jungle, we are surrounded by trees everywhere, and that creates situations where sometimes in the middle of your breakfast you will see an iguana passing by, or a snake, or in the night you can see a skunk walking around, or how do you call this night pointy...
possums. We
there
have
are
possums.
yeah.
Or there are tarantulas, or there are many animals that are not really dangerous, but if you come from the city and you prefer a hotel that is super I don't mean clean because this is not clean. I mean like sanitized with chlorine, pristine,
Yes.
where they will use animal poison to get rid of the ants, for example. We had this morning an incident with ants inside of a room, and this happens. This is natural here. So that would be the first thing. If you are comfortable around nature, this is the place. But there are more things. It's not a hotel, and one of the first things that people have to do when they arrive here is they have to make their own bed. So this is the first sign that they are also responsible for their experience while they're here.
But you provide sheets.
We provide everything,
Yes.
yeah, but they are responsible of preparing their bed, making their own bed, and that begins a process. Another example that I'll give you, we don't have a front desk, we don't have a reception, and we don't have personnel there. So people have to know beforehand. They receive all the information about camp, and they are responsible of getting in through the door, of punching their code. We don't open the door for people. We don't help them in their every need. People are responsible. So people who are responsible of their own experience, people who feel comfortable in this kind of environment, people who are not expecting the comforts of a first world hotel, of a global north hotel. And there's more things that Anthony has already mentioned about the architecture, how it self-selects people. There are some other characteristics.
Yeah, I mean, the one that comes up for me is that we're not on the beach. And it's only 4 minutes down the calle to the beach. But the beach has, I've been coming to Zipolite for about 7 years. The beach is getting louder and louder and louder.
Very much.
So I didn't, when I bought this land, I didn't anticipate the sound levels that sometimes we hear on a Friday night on the beach now, because they didn't exist back then. But now I'm grateful that we are separated from that. And the other thing is that it is, we have a costera wall, this wood wall all around camp, and that is to. I don't think anybody that's inside camp really cares about privacy. Like they don't want anyone to see them. Maybe some do, but more importantly, it's respectful to our neighbors that as they walk by, they're not going to see any nudity inside camp. Mm-hmm. So, and in terms of camp's use as a retreat center. We don't have an ocean view. We don't have you can easily walk to get that. But what happens here, especially for retreats, is we're all looking inward. We're doing work, modality work that's looking inward, and so there's no distraction by the ocean and the ocean views and things like that.
So it has a very nature feel. Yeah. Like the walls there's a lot of wood, and we have clay bricks. Is that what these are?
Yeah, every piece of material that's here is made.
You didn't whitewash
very
it.
Close.
You didn't cover it with.
No,
stucco.
There's no paint. There's no paint here. Yeah.
The pool is made of stone. It looks
Correct.
almost like it was there, and you just put stone around it, kind of thing. So, and a lot of nature growing, a lot of trees and plants, and or not.
Yeah, so we at one point, this property was a hill, and we carved this lower floor out of that hill. And there were trees here that initially tried to design around and keep, but then we decided to they weren't that substantial, and we just took them out and replanted the same thing. And now they're about as big as they were when we bought the land.
Yeah, so it's interesting because yes, you come in from the street, and you come in at the second level basically, which is an event space you've created, and then you have to go down the stairs to the courtyard, of the main areas where you have the showers and the rooms and everything else, kitchen and more event spaces as well. So
yeah.
You come in at the top and you go down.
That's correct.
Just not your typical setup either.
Beach place, yeah.
And if you have a private room, you can't lock it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And sometimes people who are expecting more like a global north hotel, they are disturbed by this, and they immediately think someone is going to steal my stuff, which is something that has never happened here.
No, never had that.
In all the years that we've been here, there's never been an incident like that, even though, as you saw, on Fridays we get up to 200 people. And these are not people that are passing through our filter, or we are not checking them, but no one comes here to see what they can steal.
Yeah.
And
but you do get a locker.
You get a locker. Yeah. If you want to put your valuables in the locker when you're not in the room, of course, there's a big locker that people can put their things in.
Yeah.
So Ernesto, were you nudist before you started this?
Yes and no, because I had been to Zipolite many times. The first time that I came here was in the year 2001. But right before coming here, I was in Turkey, where you can absolutely not get naked in a you will go to jail if you get naked in a beach. So when I had the chance in places like here or in Michoacan, more in the north of Mexico, well, center of Mexico, there's a place called Maruata, which is kind of an unofficial nudist place as well. So that's where I started getting naked in public in maybe 1999, 97, something like that. So yes, I enjoyed that, but I had not lived in a place where it was allowed and it was possible. Definitely not in Turkey.
Right. And Anthony, why? Why are you doing this? And I should say, because we asked Ernesto, but we haven't told people, you have quite a history in nudism as well, right?
Yeah, I'm 64, and I was 18 when I went to my first nude beach, and I never had I don't think I've owned a bathing suit.
And you're very involved in Rock Lodge in New York.
Yes, that's correct.
So it's not like you came here and invented.
No. I came here I came here with my Bella Valles. We visited Zipolite, the beach, and we loved it. And we had been to other places all over the world, nude places, and we particularly, my Bella is from Venezuela, and we particularly liked Zipolite. We both knew from our travels, like, this place is good for all the right reasons for us, and so we set out to find a piece of land that wasn't on the beach, and there were a lot of choices in those days. Now it's really hard to find any land to buy, but at that point there was quite a bit available, and we settled on this particular piece of land, and it was originally purchased to build our home. And then we quickly decided it was more land than we needed, we expected to find. And so we quickly decided to push our house back into the corner of the land and build this retreat center, because we both have done and have taught in a lot of modality work in retreats that throughout our lives. So we know, we've been to and know what we like about various retreat destinations. So we were able to architect something like this with that in mind.
So people have been listening to this podcast now for 15 years, and the first episode still gets people listening. So they may be listening to this in 2035.
That's right.
But it is 2024.
Yeah.
You first visited this
7 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I first visited in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
With you. And
That's right.
You were building, and you opened then in 2021?
No, we kind of partially opened. We had a retreat here in 2020.
Okay.
And then got shut down during COVID.
Right.
But we were fully. We consider ourselves to have reopened and after the hurricane and everything, 2021.
2021, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now it's 2024, and it's very well established from the looks of things. But you're developing, you're doubling the place.
Yeah. The initial concept was that this was built for retreats. That's actually why there's no locks on the rooms, because it's, in theory, it's a group of people that know each other. It's a closed container or whatever, and there's no need for people to lock their rooms if they're all there for the same purpose. So the hostel use of camp was. The intention was that the Airbnb use would be the necessary evil between retreats. And we didn't really give that much attention. We just thought it would build revenue and fill the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
As it turned out, the people that come to Zipolite and the people that come to camp and the people that read our narratives and look at the pictures of the place or whatever, something about the whole prescription kind of self-selects for really, really wonderful people. We're so delighted by the Airbnb guests that come here. And as this is also our home, Ernesto lives here as well, and it's important, so we really enjoy that hostel aspect. So we flipped the model and decided that we wanted to keep what we call this as West Camp, the hostel, And we got very lucky, and we're able to buy a similar sized piece of land right next door, and we're now building the retreat container over there, and that will be all retreats, and that way West Camp, where we are now, can remain the public space. This will always remain the hostel. This won't be booked for retreats at all. So therefore, we don't have to interrupt our classes that we have. We have yoga classes in the morning and in the afternoon. We have ecstatic dance on Friday. We have dance classes for children. We have a lot of different scheduled activities that happen in our studios here. And whenever we have a retreat, which isn't infrequently, we have to stop those. We have to interrupt them, and we don't want to do that anymore.
You told me you're doubling, but I went looking over there. I think you're tripling. I think the amount of space is actually triple, probably.
Perhaps. Yeah.
It's a big development, eh?
Yeah, but so the retreats that will happen over there, they can come here, but we won't go there.
How do you get retreats? How do you get people to...
Well, Mabel and I are connected to a lot of communities that are that we've done work for, that we've worked with and taught with, and so I don't think we'll have trouble. We haven't had trouble getting retreats. In fact, we often say no to more requests to book camp for retreats than we say yes.
So if people want to come and stay here, how do they book?
For now, through Airbnb. We will soon have our own platform as well at mx.camp, which is our website.
Okay.
And that would be the way to come to camp, visiting mx.camp, and then finding out if this is the right place for you, because sometimes people realize that they want something more luxurious, or they want some place where they don't need to see naked people, and sometimes that happens and people decide to not come after making the reservation. But in general, like Anthony said, the place self-selects the people who come here, and we have had very good experiences in general with the people who we host.
And during the festival, you multiplied the price by 10 times, like all the other hotels?
No,
not by 10. No. And actually, that's one of the reasons.
We didn't add it. We didn't add anything, but it's the season. It's high season, so our prices are a little higher in high season than they are in the summer.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
But we don't spike our prices for different festivals and things like that.
And I believe you can't book like a year ahead of time, right?
No, you just
only 3 months ahead.
Yeah, we can only book 3 months ahead, and that will change.
Will it? Yeah.
Well, because right now the reason for that is that we want to prioritize the use of the space for retreat producers. So we don't want people booking more than 3 months in advance, because then the space is not available for retreats. But next year, when the new side is open, it will then this will be bookable. There won't be any limitations on.
And there's one thing that we haven't mentioned yet, and it's that in the summer, camp also functions as a space for artistic residencies. So we receive applications, and we invite artists to stay here up to 1 month for free, with no obligation to create or to do anything here. This is just to rest, and people still create because they like it, but not because they have to. So we have had people who do dance, circus arts. Would you call it that?
That's right.
Circus arts. We have had painters, muralists. So in the summer, between the month of May and October, we also function as a space for artistic residencies.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So if somebody is interested, how big of a retreat can you host?
Well, soon it will be big.
Assuming once the new Camp East is finished, 100. We can sleep 100. Okay. Though we have had retreats where usually like by April the mosquitoes are kind of much less, and people can just kind of crash in the studios and stuff like that. Right. So we've had, even in half of the, even like we have 48 beds right now, and last year for one festival, we had 100 people sleeping here.
So, and even the 48 beds, it's not 48 private rooms.
No. Some of them are. There are many rooms with, well, some rooms with 2 beds, double bed, and other rooms that have 4 to 6 beds, and then we have a mezzanine dormitory with 16 beds.
So if somebody has a perfect residence or that they want to do, how do they contact you for that?
That's on our website, mx.camp. There's a section all about the artist residencies. Okay. Is that what you mean when you say residence, or you mean to book?
To book a residency or a gathering?
There's a section about retreats. There's a section about events, and there's a section about artist residencies, and each one
workshops. It could be all kinds of
exactly.
Things, right? You could do here.
Those sections are more about about instructions for producers on how it works and how to bring their work here, than they are about the general public. Like there's a general public quality to what we have posted on our website for people to get information, but that's really easy. But there's a lot of denser.
And Anthony mentioned before that sometimes that we say no to a lot of retreats and events, and this is also something that has been important, and that we have had a lot of discussions about it, and we have learned from experience, because we happen to be next to a town called Mazunte, which is 5 minutes from here, which is becoming kind of, I will put it in quotation marks, like a spiritual center in Mexico.
Okay.
But personally, and I think that Anthony shares this idea, I have many questions about this kind of spirituality, about Mayan shamans who are from Berlin, and they had one ayahuasca experience, and now they believe that they are shamans. So this happens a lot in Mazunte, and we are a big no to that kind of thing here. So we have a very clear narrative about the kind of events that camp hosts, and we don't want to participate, we don't want to encourage this fake spirituality, which is, I don't know how to call it, but yeah, we are not a space for cultural appropriation. We don't want to favor cultural appropriation, especially the appropriation of Mexican traditions or original people's terminology as well. So we are careful with the kind of things that we select to host here at camp, and we say no to more of the things that we host, but then the things that we do say yes are things that are really beautiful, that are consistent with our values, and they have integrity, and the teachers also have integrity, and in particular when it's something related to sex, we are very, very careful with that, and we have very clear guidelines about the kind of works and the kind of things that we want to receive here.
Ernesto mentioned pleasure positive work. We do a little of that. That's the thing that that's the most popular thing that producers want to bring to camp, and it's the thing we say no to the most. So we bring things
pleasure positive, meeting
sex positive work,
positive, fair, yeah.
And we tend to favor single gender workshops, tantra workshops, and things like that. Tantra for men only, tantra for women only. There's been a lot of recent popularity. There's been a lot of predatory stuff going on in the pleasure positive world.
Yes.
In the tantra world, and we want to be really, really careful. We're not willing to close our eyes real tight because the money's good. The money is good for that kind of work, but we've allowed very little of it, and it's all been. I have not regretted what work that we've allowed to come here.
So I have to be honest with you. We were very comfortable at camp, but it is not necessarily the most sophisticated experience. It's more like staying in a naturist campground in a lot of places, in that a lot of rooms, if not all the rooms actually, don't have their own washroom. They have a sink. And the showers are outside. Of course, in Zipolite, it's never a problem because it's never cold. And it's all very close and in a bit of a community setting. So everything is focused inwards on itself. It feels very much like you're in a very separate, private place. Quiet, but very community oriented. So if there's a lot of people, you're not alone. And so if you're looking for just a total private room by yourself to escape to, that's probably not camp. But if you want to really stay someplace special, that's very affordable, where you'll meet people and you will feel part of something. Or if you want to put together a retreat or a special event where you get people working together and learning from each other and growing and developing, camp is a wonderful option for you. And of course, there'll be a link in the show notes on how to get it. It's camp.mx, but it's very easy and very easy to find in Zipolite. So that's all for this episode of the Naturist Living Show, and I thank you as always for listening. Again, my name is Stéphane Deschênes, and I'm your host for this podcast and the owner of Bear Oaks Family Naturist Park, and I make this show with so much help, as I said in the beginning, from Samantha. So please support us. Well, more specifically, support her on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Naturist Living Show, and there is a link in the show notes. You can also find links to everything we talked about in the show notes on our website, which is Naturist Living Show, one word, naturistliving.show.com. So please keep sending your comments and suggestions. We always appreciate reading them and getting them, and we don't always have time to reply, but we read them all. That's for sure. So the show's email address is contact@naturistliving.show.com. And on our website, there's a few social media options as well if you want to contact us that way. I hope you enjoy the show and that you'll join us again for the next episode of the Naturist Living Show.
This episode of the Naturist Living Show was brought to you by Bear Oaks Family Naturist Park. Traditional naturist values in a modern setting. Traditional values means that naturism is more than just taking your clothes off. It is a life philosophy with physical, psychological, environmental, social, and moral benefits. Bear Oaks Family Naturist Park strives to promote those naturist values in a modern setting that provides the amenities and services that our members and visitors expect. Free your body, free your mind. Learn more at www.bearoaks.ca.
Here's a store that sells tortillas. In Mexico, people buy tortillas just like we buy hamburgers in the United States. They sell hot roast pork slices to eat with the tortillas. Pablo asks for chili sauce and hot peppers with his pork. In Mexico, people like highly seasoned foods. This is true of the people in most warm climates.